come from the bottom where the chances ain't high enough. Talking to myself, my thoughts tell me I don't try enough. Roll another one, still feel like I don't get high enough. Never could finesse me, everything I do is out of love. Never could have crossed me, cause I...
What's good, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Rue, and today I'm going to be going over how to fully utilize the MetaTrader 4 app. Right? If you're trading Forex, it's very important that you know how to use this app to become as profitable as possible. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this call started. And I'm going to go over how to basically go ahead and use MetaTrader 4 to its full potential, right? For those that are trading FRX, it's very important that you know how to go ahead and use MetaTrader, right? So this is MetaTrader 4. This is what the app looks like, right? So quotes to the bottom left is where you go ahead and add pairs. So let's just say, let me clear this whole thing out. All right. Let's say, the signal page just sent out a trade, right? Let's say they sent us a trade right here. New trade idea. It says GBP NZD, right? GBP NZD is the pair, and the action set under it, it says buy by market, right? And it tells you at the bottom, it says SL, right? And it says TPs, right? So just so you guys can see this better, right? It's going to tell you when to buy, right? It's telling you the stop loss, 35 pips. And it's going to tell you, it's going to give you two different stop losses sometimes, right? This one says it's a conservative stop loss, 35 pips, right? And this one says aggressive, and it says 55 pips. So you can determine how much it is you want to risk, during this trade, right? It tells you which take profits you want to use. It gives you 4 options, right? There's 4 of them. You can't choose all 4. You have to choose one. As a beginner, I always recommend take profit number 1, right? Take profit number 1 for a beginner. And it tells you the pair, GBP and ZD. So once you know all of that, what you want to do is you want to hop on MetaTrader, right? There's going to be a plus button to the top right, a blue plus, right? To the top right of my screen. If you click on that button, it's going to allow you to search now. You click on search, and you want to type in GBP and ZD because that's the pair we're looking at, right? It's telling us buy GBP and ZD. So I would literally search it up, GBP and ZD. And it's going to pop up, right? And there's going to be a green plus to the left of it. You want to go ahead and click on that green plus, right? Once you do, it's going to disappear. You want to click cancel. You want to click back. And it's going to pop up at the bottom of your screen every single time. Every time you add a new pair, it'll always pop up at the bottom of your screen. Always. So what you want to do is now you want to click on a pair. You're going to click on trade. And it's going to ask you for a stop loss. It's going to ask you for a take profit, and it's going to ask you whether you want to sell the market or buy the market, right? So all we're literally doing is copying and pasting. That's what I'm going to start off with. I'm going to show you guys how to copy and paste. So I'm going to use a conservative stop loss here, right? And you guys all see that it says SL option A. That's what I'm going to go with, conservative, 35 pips, right? And the number is 1.95950. So I'm going to go where it says stop loss. I'm going to erase the numbers that pop up. 1.95950 is my stop loss, 35 pips, right? Now, my take profit, right? I'm going to use take profit number 1. Take profit number 1 says 30 pips. It says 96,800, right? Take profit number 1, 96,800. So I'm going to click on where it says stop loss. I'm going to erase everything, 96,800. Boom, right? The next step is pretty simple. It's going to ask me whether I want to buy the market or whether I want to sell the market, right? So this is telling me action at the top. It says action. Right under pair, it says action, buy market. So I would go ahead and enter this trade as a buy. This trade is old, so I'm not going to enter it, but that's pretty much how simple it is, to enter a trade, right? And if you look at my screen, right, it says market execution. That just means I want to enter the trade right now, right? So if the action says buy market, you enter right now, market execution. If it says, sell limit, you'd go ahead and click on where it says market execution, and you click on sell limit. If the trade says, buy limit, you'll click on where it says buy limit, and you'll go with buy limit, right? So for this trade right here, we're going with market execution, right? And under where it says market execution, it says 3 numbers. It says 0.10. So for those that don't know what that is, that's equivalent to $1 in the market. You're investing $1, meaning you'll make or lose $1 every time the market moves, right? So you always want to have the perfect, and this is called a lot size. you always want to have the perfect lot size when you're trading. You never want to over leverage. You never want to under leverage, right? So I'm going to go over what lot sizes you should be using very, very quickly, right? So I'm going to go over a little bit of risk management, right? If you have $100 in your account, right? Let's say you have $100 in your account, right? Your total lot size should be a 0.1, which is equivalent to $1, right? It should not be anything over $1 because that's when you're over leveraging, right? So that means you can enter multiple different trades as long as they add up to $1, you're fine, right? You can't open 3 different trades with $1 because now you have $3 open, if that makes sense, right? So where it says 90, let's say you have $90 in your account. The highest lot size total that you should have is 90 cents, which is equivalent to 0.09, right? 0.09. If you have $80, the highest lot size you should be using is a 0.08, right? And that's 80 cents. And like I said, that doesn't mean that you should have multiple trades open with 80 cents. The total should just be 80 cents. So let me just give you an example, right? Let's say I have $100 in my account and I want to take multiple trades. I don't just want to take one. What I would do is I divide, that 0.1 by 2. Let's say I want to enter 2 trades. I enter both of the trades at 0.05. So I come here, I put 0.05, and I click buy by market. Let's just say this is an example, buy by market, right? And I want to enter the same exact trade again. I'd go back to GBP/NZD, trade. I'll put a 0.05 and I'll click buy by market. So now if you look at it, right, let's pretend the other 3 trades weren't here. If it was literally my GBP/NZD trades, I have a 0.05 and a 0.05, which is equivalent to a 0.1, right? If I had $100 in this account, that would be perfect, right? If I want to enter 3 trades, I divide 0.1 by 3. If I want to enter 4 trades, I'd enter, 0.025s, right? Cut the trade in 4. Does that make sense, guys? If that makes sense, drop 1 in the chat box. If that makes sense, drop 1 in the chat box. Let me go ahead and delete these trades. Right, so just know how much it is you have in your account, right? If you have 50 cents, don't use anything higher than a 0.05. If you have $40, don't use anything than a 0.04, right? If you have $30, don't use anything, higher than a 0.03. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to move your stop loss into entry and what this is, right? So right here, you guys see I'm in a trade. It says USD CHF, right? I'm in a sell. I'm in a sell and I entered this trade with $1. I invested $1, 0.01 sell, right? And I'm up $22, right? So on my screen right here, I don't know if you guys can see it. It says SL and it says TP, right? Hold on, let me change the color so you guys can see. Right here, let me undo it. You guys see where it says right here, it says SL and it says TP. That's my stop loss and that's my take profit, right? So let me go ahead and erase that. You see this number right here, right? That number, it says 0.9746. That's my entry. That's where I entered the market, right? So since I entered this trade as a sell at this area, 0.9746, I entered as a sell at this area. Meaning, in order for me to go negative, the market has to buy above this area because I sold the market, right? I sold the market. I want the market to go downwards. In order for me to go negative, right? In order for me to be negative, within this trade, the market has to be above this area because I sold. I want it to go down, right? If the market goes above this area, I go negative, right? Let's say I decided to buy this market. I bought this market, right? At 0.9746, right? The same area. If I bought the market, right? And I'm up money. In order for me to go negative, the market has to be below where I bought, which is 9746, right? So this is my entry. This is where I entered. I entered as a sell at this area. So in order for me to go negative, the market has to buy above this area, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how you can make a trade risk-free, meaning you won't lose any money if the trade reverses, right? I'm up $22. If this market reverses, I'm going to show you guys a way where you lose no money, right? So what you want to do is, right, once you're up, 15 to 20 pips, right? 15 to 20 points in this market, right? Right now, I entered the trade with $1. The market is up $22. I make $1 per movement, so I'm up 22 points, right? What I want to do to secure my profits now is I want to move my stop loss into entry. To do so, you want to hold on the trade. You want to click on modify, right? And you see where it says stop loss, you can always change it. So you want to erase the stop loss and you want to place your entry where you entered in the market. What a stop loss does, a stop loss kicks you out of a trade once the market hits this area where it says stop loss, right? So if I move the market to, if I move my stop loss to entry, right, the trade is going to kick me out before my trade can go negative. It's going to kick me out right where I entered, meaning my trade can't go negative. So I won't lose any money. So what you want to do is once you're up $15 to $20, right, or 15 to 20 pips, my fault, you want to move your stop loss into entry. So my entry, right, it says it right under where it says USD It's always going to say your entry, right? So my entry for USD is 90,746. So I'm going to hold on the trade. I'm going to click modify. And I'm going to move my stop loss to 90,746. Boom, right? So now if you look at my screen, it says my entry, USD right under it, it says 90,746, right? And if you look at where it says SL on the bottom of my screen, right, where it says SL, it says 90,746. So this trade is now risk-free. I no longer have to look at my phone because if this market decides to reverse, I'm not going to lose any money regardless, right? As opposed to me having a stop loss, you know, a regular stop loss, and it kicks me out negative, right? So I'm going to show you guys this real quick. I'm going to go to my chart, right? Let me actually change it back very quickly. Let me change it back real quick. Let's put my stop loss 98.75. Right? Let's look at my chart, right? So if you look at my screen, it says sell right here. Hold on. If you look at my screen, it says sell. You guys see where it says sell, right? It says sell 0.10. So I sold the market for $1 at this dotted line. At this dotted line, I sold the market for $1, right? This is where I entered the trade. Let me move more over so you guys can see. So I entered the trade here for a sell. It says sell, right? Meaning I wanted the market to go downwards. Current price is at this line right here. So I entered up here and the market dropped down here. So I'm in profit because I sold and the market sold as well. I'm in profit, right? So you see where my stop loss is, right? It says SL and it's a dotted red line, SL. That's my stop loss. So once if the market decides to reverse and come up here, it's going to kick me out the trade and I'm going to be negative because I sold here, I entered here, and the market bought above my entry, right? I entered here for a sell and the market decided to buy instead. If it hits this area, it kicks me out with negative money, right? But right now I'm up $22, right? This is my take profit. Once the market comes down and hits this area, it's going to kick me out with all the money that I made. This is my take profit, right? Take profit is your friend, right? Stop loss is your enemy, right? It's your enemy if it's above your entry, right? So what you want to do is, right, what I went over with you guys, you want to move your stop loss into entry. So when the market decides to reverse, it's going to kick you out with no loss, right? If I leave my stop loss here and the market reverses, the trade is going to kick me out negative. I'm going to lose money. But if I move this stop loss into my entry, it's going to kick me out where I entered so I can no longer lose any money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stop loss into entry just so you guys can see that my dotted red line is going to appear right where I entered, where it says sell. So I entered at 90,746, modify the trade. Stop loss 90,746, modify. Right? Now, if you look at it, right? Let's go back to chart. Look where my stop loss is now. My stop loss and my sell are at the same exact area. You can't even read it no more. It says SL and sell right here. They're on top of each other. So my stop loss is exactly where my entry is at, right? My stop loss is exactly where my entry is at. So I can't lose money on this trade right here. If this market decides to reverse and come back up, it's going to kick me out with no loss, right? Very, very simple. So this trade is either going to hit my take profit and I'm going to make money, or this trade is going to hit my stop loss and I'm going to lose nothing because the stop loss is at my entry, right? So that's how you move your stop loss into entry, right? Every trade tells you your entry, right? If we look at USD CAD, right? My stop loss is my entry is literally under USD CAD, 1.31482, right? That's my entry. If we look at USD JPY, right, my entry is 104.731. So if I don't want to lose money on this trade, right, I'll move my stop loss to where I entered the market, right? If that makes sense, drop one in the chat, y'all. If that makes sense, drop one in the chat, right? Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to actually, trail your stop loss, how to trail your stop loss. This is going to make it so you either make money on the trade or you make money on the trade, right? Before I just showed you guys how to make money or lose nothing. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make money or make money when you're in the trade. So I'm up $25 right now, right? My entry is 90,746. Let's go back to the chart, right? My stop loss is at entry. So if this trade reverses, I lose nothing, right? I'm going to go ahead and show you guys now how you can make it so you either make money when it hits take profit, or if it reverses, you still make money, right? Because since I entered here, right, anything under this is profit. Anything under this red line is profit. So if I put my stop loss here, it's profit. If I put my stop loss here, it's profit. If the market does decide to reverse and hits my new stop loss, I still make money. So you see up here, there's going to be it's like a plus, a blue plus. You click on this plus, and what it allows you to do, it tells you the numbers to the right of your screen. It's going to tell you where you're at, right? So I entered up here, right? I want to move my stop loss now in profit, because since I sold here, anything under this is profit. So let's say I want to move my stop loss here. So if the market reverses and hits this area, I get kicked out with profit. So that number to the right of my screen, right? Hold on. Let's say right here, right? The number to the right of my screen is 90,685. 90,685. So if I click on modify, stop loss 90,685, and I click modify, right? And I go back to my chart. Now look at it, right? Hold on. Right? I entered the trade right here. I sold. It says sell right here. I sold it right there at this black line. My take profit is down here, but now my stop loss is in profit, right? My stop loss is under my sell. So if the market reverses and hits my stop loss, I still make profit, right? I'm still making profit. Instead of getting kicked out up here, or instead of getting kicked out at entry, I get kicked out now in profit, because since I sold here, right, anything under this area is profit. So my stop loss is now in profit, right? So we do something called trailing stop losses, right? On this trade, I'll either make money or make money, right? So once this market, every time the market drops lower, hold on. Every time the market drops lower, what I do is I move this stop loss lower. So I'm securing more and more and more money, right? If the market goes down some more, I move my stop loss down some more, right? Because if the trade reverses and hits this area, I'm making money right now, right? But if I lower it now and it kicks me out here, I make more money. If I lower it now and it kicks me out here, I make more money. So this market is currently right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stop loss down even lower, right? Let's say I move my stop loss down to right here, 90,580, right? So if I go to my trade, hold on it, modify, 90,580, and I click on modify, boom, right? Let's go back to my chart. Now look at where my stop loss is, y'all. Hold on. Right? Look where my stop loss is now. It's at 95.80, and the market is currently right here. So if this market reverses and it hits this area, it's going to kick me out with profit, the money that I've made, right? Or it's going to hit take profit. So in other words, this trade is either going to hit my stop loss and I'm going to make money, or it's going to hit my take profit and I'm going to make even more money, right? And every time the market goes down, let's say the market goes down to this box, I'll move my stop loss now down to the next box. You always want to keep an equal distance. You never want to get too close. You never want to have your stop loss too close to the current price, because if it goes back even a little bit, it'll kick you out, right? And you don't want to get kicked out early. You want to make all this money. So every time the market goes down, let's say half a box, I move my stop loss down half a box. I keep the same distance. The market goes down a whole box, right? And I'm talking about this box right here, right? If the market goes down to this box, to the bottom of this box, I'll move my stop loss down to the bottom of this box. And I'm just keeping the same distance. The market goes down, let's say 2 ticks. I'll move my stop loss down 2 ticks. And I'm just securing more and more and more and more and more money, right? Just securing more money. So I showed you guys how to move your stop loss into entry. I showed you guys, right, how to move your stop loss into profit. And I showed you guys how to copy and paste the signal. I'm now going to show you guys how to close partials, right? So in this trade I'm in, right, I'm up $26. I'm up $26, right? So I don't have to, leave all this money on the line. I can secure some. So if I hold on the trade now, right, and I click on close, you see to the top of my screen where it says 0.10, right? 0.10. Right? You guys see that, right? 0.10. What I can do is I can click on this number and I can cut that number in half and secure half of my profit. So if I'm up, I entered this trade with $1, right? What's half of a dollar? 50 cents. So what I do is I erase this number and I type in 50 cents, which is equivalent to 0.05, right? And now it says close with profit $13. So if I click on that, boom, I have $13 still in the trade, right? I have $13 in the trade, but if I go to my history, I'm up $13, right? And don't mind all these negatives, guys. I entered random trades just to get a trade in profit last night so I can run this call with you guys, right? So if you look at USD-CHF, right? If you look at USD-CHF, I just made $13. I secured $13, and I'm still in this trade for $13. And mind you, this trade is, my stop loss is in profit, so I'm going to make money on this trade regardless, right? This trade can either hit my stop loss and I make money, or it's going to hit my take profit and I make money. So this trade is either going to make me even more money, or I'm probably going to make, maybe like $10, $11 off of this trade, maybe $9 off of this trade, because my stop loss is in profit. So if it hits this area, I'm still making money. If it's my take profit, I still make money. I no longer have to look at my phone, right? I don't have to worry about anything. I'm going to make money on this trade regardless, right? And then I also just secured $13. Now, let's say I want to secure some more money. I'd hold on the trade. I click on close, and I'm going to close out some more, right? I threw in 50 cents. Let's say I want to close out 20 cents. I'll click on this 5 or erase it, and I'll put a 2. Now I can close with another $5. Boom, right? Now I have $8 still in the trade. This trade is either going to make me money or make me even more money still. And for my history, I'm up $5, right? So I secured 13 and I secured 5. So that's how you close partials. Every time you want to close, some money out of a trade, if you have, $10, you can close out 5. Just cut your lot size in half, right? Cut your investment in half. So USD JPY right here, I entered it with $1, right? I'm not up much. Once this trade is up $10, I'll close 0.05 out of this trade and I'll close myself $5, right? Very, very simple stuff, right? So what else can I go over with you guys, right? So twin trading, right? The power of twin trading. So you don't have, you can enter the same trade multiple different times. Let's say, for example, they sent out this trade that I just went over, right? Let's say they sent out this trade in GBP, NZD, buy. What I want to do is, if I want to enter the trade more than once, I'll go ahead and I'll do so. And I'll use the same stop loss for both trades, but I'll put one of the trades at take profit number 1, and I'll put the other trade at take profit number 2, right? So I have options. I can put one trade at take profit number 1, and I can put the other one at take profit number 2, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the power of twin trading, and I'm going to go over why it's so important, right? And you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I personally do this every time I trade, right? Because if it hits the area that you wanted to, you'll double your money, right? Instead of just making, 30 pips, you'll make 30 and 50, right? So GBP, NZD, buy by market, right? I'll go to GBP, NZD, I'll find it, trade. I'll enter it as a buy, let's say for $1. And I'll enter it again as another buy for $1, right? So now what I want to do is I want to modify the trade. I want to put my stop losses and take profits in. If I hold on one of them and I click modify, let's say my stop loss, it tells me to use 35 pip stop loss, right? SL option A, 95,950. So I'll go ahead and I'll put that 95,950 for my stop loss, and I'll click modify. This trade is old, so I can't do it, right? This trade is old, so I can't put this trade number in. I'd put 95,950 for this one. And then for the next one, I'd go ahead and put 95,950 for this one. And I'll modify them both. So I have the same stop losses, right? SL option A for both of them, right? So now what you want to do is you want to use different take profits, right? So for this trade, I'll put the first take profit number 1, which is 96,800. 96,800. I'll put it 96,800 and I'll click modify. Like I said, I can't because this trade is old, but this trade would be at take profit number 1. And then the next trade, I have the same stop loss in, right? 95,950. But for my take profit, I'll put take profit number 2, 97,700, right? So I'll put take profit 9,700, right? So now I have 2 trades open, right? I have 1 trade open at take profit number 1, and I have another trade open at take profit number 2, right? So I entered the same trade more than once. So if this trade hits, right, I don't just make 30 pips because I entered it twice. I make 50 and I make 30. So I pretty much doubled what I made, right? So you can always do this. You can put take profit number 1, take profit number 3, take profit number 1, take profit number 4, whatever it is that you choose, right? As a beginner, I would choose take profit number 1 or for one of them, and take profit number 2 or 3 for the second one, right? So if this trade hits for 70 pips, right, take profit number 3, you don't just make 70 pips. You make 70 and you also make 30 from the other one, right? And if you're using a good lot size, you know, you make a lot of money. So that's what twin trading is, just entering the same trade twice, putting different take profits and putting the same exact stop loss. So if that trade hits, you double your money, right? So I'm going to go over my chart for you guys with you guys real quick. Let me delete this. So if you look at my screen, right, it says at the bottom of my screen, it says strong sell, right? It says sell, it says pullback, and it says buy. This is an RSI, a relative strength index. So it's going to give you, you know, an assumption of what it believes the market's going to do. So you see to the right of my screen, it says 100, 70, 50, 30, 0, right? So if the market is, you know, towards the pullback area, it's basically saying that the market is going to pull back, right? If the market is at the strong sell area, the market, you know, is giving you an indication that the market might sell. If it's at the sell area, the market might sell. If it's at the buy area, the market might buy. This is just another confirmation, right? When it comes to trading, the person with the most confirmation honestly wins. So this is just an extra confirmation, right? With the trading style that you're already using, you can use this RSI to, you know, basically identify what the market is going to do, right? It's obviously not 100% accurate, but it just gives you an indication of what the market is going to do. To add these indicators, what you do is you'll use this F to the middle of my screen, right? You'll click on it and you'll click on, you know, indicator window number 1. And you could add anything, right? There's many different indicators that you can add. The one that I chose is the relative strength index, right? Relative strength index. So once you have your relative strength index, it'll pop up here, right? And you want to edit it. You want to click on it. And then it's going to say levels, right? You'll click on levels. The levels will be 30, 70, 50, 90, 100. Take a screenshot if you have to, right? So the 30 level, you type in the word buy. 70 level, you'll type in the word sell. 50 level, you'll type in the word pullback. Strong sell is going to be the 90 level, right? I have strong sells twice. That's a mistake. I'll fix that, right? But these are your levels, right? Those are your levels. And you want to click done once you're done with that, right? You can change the color that it pops up on your screen. I have a white background, right? So my style is blue, right? I'm going to show you guys my settings as well so you guys can screenshot it and you guys could put your MetaTrader 4 chart to look as just the same as mine. So if I click on settings, you click on charts, right? You want to make sure the ask price is on, the trade levels is on. I use, for my chart, I have candlesticks. And then for colors, these are my colors. You can screenshot it if you want. I like to have the white background. You can change your background to black, whatever it is that you like, right? But screenshot this. This is my color scheme, right? You click on custom and you just edit the colors that you like. This is my chart setup. You can screenshot it if you like, right? So I went over how to copy and paste the signal on this call. I went over how to move your stop loss to entry. So you risk nothing, right? It hits your take profit. You make money or you lose nothing. I went over how to move your stop loss into entry, right? I went over how to trail your stop loss. So every time the trade goes in more and more profit, you can modify the trade and move your stop loss more and more into profit. I went over how to close partials. If you're up $20, you can take out and save $10, right? I went over twin trading, entering the same trade multiple times, using the same stop loss and different take profits. I went over how you can go ahead and add indicators like the RSI. I gave you guys the RSI setup, and then I also went over my chart, right? So, and I also went over risk management, right? How much money it is you want to have in a trade, right? So let's say, for example, I'll end it with this, right? Let's say it says SL option A, right? And it says 35 pips. You always want to know how much money it is you're risking losing, right? If I enter the trade with $1, right, which is 0.10, right? And let's write it on a calculator. Obviously on a calculator, right, $1 isn't written as 0.1, that's 10 cents. $1 on a calculator is written as 1.00, right? If it says SL option A is 35 pips, you want to multiply your dollar. Let's say you want to put $1 in the trade. You want to multiply $1 times 35 to see how much it is you'd risk losing if this trade hits stop loss, right? So you'd risk losing $35 on this trade if the trade hits stop loss. Let's say, I want to put 50 cents into the trade. 50 cents on a calculator is written as 0.50, right? If it's 35 pips, the stop loss, right? You want to multiply 50 cents times 35, and you'd risk losing $17.50 on this trade. If that's too much and you don't want to risk losing that, what you do is you lower your lot size, right? If they send out a trade for 35 pips and you're not comfortable losing $17, right? Let's enter the trade with, let's say, 20 cents times 35. You'd risk losing $7. If that's still too much, you don't want to lose $7 on the trade, you can enter the trade with 10 cents. 10 cents times 35 is $3.50, right? So always know what you're risking losing and always know what you're risking making. It's the same thing for take profits, right? Same thing for take profits. If it's 30 pips, right, the take profit number one, right, if I enter with $1 times 35, I'd make $35 on the trade, right? So this call is about to end, you guys. Hopefully you guys got some value. Hopefully you guys understand how to go ahead and use MetaTrader 4.
We got the same 24. You want it, I want it more. She want you, but want me more. See me dripping in Dior. Started off with Michael Kors. Came up from the poverty. Seen a lot of niggas fall. My hood say they proud of me. Know that I'ma be the one. They see me want pictures now. Thought I'd be the same, Lil Rock, but I'm different now.